So, Novelette just came out. He's top tier, amazing on-field hypercarry damage, but that's kind of what we've been saying to most DPS characters that have come out recently, and over time, those statements seem to lose meaning. Well, except for Novelette, since I do think he'll actually stay in meta. But hey fellows, Navy here. Today, I'm here to talk about how certain characters stay relevant in meta and the various reasons. These characters seem to lose their meta status as time goes on and as more characters appear, so what could a character do to actually be relevant and stay in meta? Well, I don't really know. Yeah, sorry, that was overdone, but there's really not a clear answer on how a character could be meta for such a long time, though I do have a little hypothesis. Let's compare supports to DPSs. Now, I think that supports have a longer lasting life in meta terms since they have more universal usage compared to actual DPSs. Nowadays, DPSs are just not that versatile. They have about either one or two teams that the game wants you to only play in, while supports could fit in a lot of differing teams, which honestly does make a lot of sense. But what about a character like Child? He might be part of a DPS type of group, but what separates him from the rest? Well, you guessed it, versatility. The reason Child has been surviving the current meta is versatility and also a little bit of adaptability. He gets an indirect shadow buff once in a while because of other weapons or characters that comes out that he's able to synergize with. But the reason I say he's versatile is because of many different things. His playstyle, element, and he's just fucking Child. He wields the Hydra element, which is in my opinion the best element because of how much stuff you could do with reactions. Bloom, Vaporize, Freeze, and other stuff. It's pretty universal and just that could shift him towards the meta. And then his playstyle? Well, he's an on-field enabler, which you've heard that term many times for this man before because it's true. On top of that are his bursts that hit for a good amount of damage, including the range version, and going back to him being an enabler, that leaves a lot of space for many teams that you could pair him up with, since you could stack off-field supports on him and create crazy Hydra reactions, mainly being Bloom or Reverse Vaporize. All in all, the versatility of this man is amazing, but going back to adaptability, if a character doesn't fit with a reasonable amount of the newer characters, they're kind of off the meta. Now that's one reason why I think some certain characters survive in the current meta. Now here's the next one, which should be pretty obvious: damage output. I don't think I need much of a standard explanation, but yeah, this really only applies to DPSs since they're the main people putting out the damage. So basically, a character remains meta because of their solo damage output. That's really kind of about it. The characters that could be applied to these could be people like Ganyu, Hu Tao, and Wanderer. Their main focus is just to output as much damage as possible, using some elemental reactions along the way to increase their damage, but it really isn't the main focus of their entire kit. Some may help initiate some reactions, but more times than not, they focus more on personal damage rather than, well, overall team damage, if that makes sense. So moving on from versatility and on to sustainability. The meaning of sustainability in Genshin is to meet the current standards of meta and to not fall behind it. And again, Child is a great example of this. Like I said before, he indirectly gets a shadow buff, which means opening up paths to new teams or more damage potential for him. He's a character that's constantly on the rise and not a stale character. Same also goes for Kaching. I don't know why I chose her. There were much better characters like Kokumi, which was the addition of Dendro, which increased her damage exponentially. An opposite example would probably be someone like Diluc or Eula. Sure, they might have gotten some indirect buffs, like Diluc having Yelan and Eula having Mika, but Mika doesn't really do much unless you have him at C6, and with Yelan, you could pair her up with a better power DPS like Hu Tao, so there's really no point in having Diluc unless you don't have a better power DPS. And yeah, of course, both of them can hit pretty hard, but due to literally everybody else existing, they fell off on the meta side of terms. But towards the hentai side, ooh boy, that's a whole completely different story. So that about sums up this video, and again, if you have any takes or questions, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you like this video, and goodbye fellows.